So today I wanted to take some time and update our last video where we went through kind of what was in the camera bag and what type of gear we're using. And I wanted to extend that beyond just my film gear and wanted to extend it to also the gear that I'm using in my commercial work endeavors. So we're gonna kind of go in an order of like, we'll hit commercial, we'll hit film, and then we'll hit some lighting, and then I'll hit some more grip related things. So, so the first thing we'll start with is the main digital, sometimes film, but the main bag that I use every single day for work. So this is a Think Tank airport bag. It's really useful. It has these compartments here. You've seen these bags. These bags are like the standard, really. It's a good bag, and it's the perfect size for me. The first thing I have in here that I'll start with is the main shooting body that I use. This is an A7R3, and I have two of these. One is filming right now, and I use this camera for pretty much everything that I do. I've got lenses in here. I've got a Canon Macro with an adapter. I've got a 135. I've got a 50mm, and I've got a 35 Zeiss that I really love. But a lot of these I use for a lot of the standard stuff that I do. And then I also have a Leica Q in here that this is actually my second one. And I love this camera so much because of the freedom that kind of comes with it and like the limitations that are actually really helpful, and really just enjoy shooting with it. So it's in here. And also I have Peak Design straps that I have on most of my cameras. And let's see what else. I keep a little bag full of batteries and full of just random things. Sometimes I'll put film or lens caps in there or something like that. And then the Pelican, this thing houses all my SD cards. So really basic setup, nothing really, nuanced or crazy. It's all kind of what it is. And I typically use one camera at a time, but I always like to have a backup. So that's why I have two of the same bodies. In here, which you can't really see, I have a charger for the Sony. I usually keep everything charged here so that I don't ever have to charge on location. I have about 6 or 7 of the Sony batteries, so that's always helped me. I keep a little notebook in here. Field Notes, shout out to Aaron Draplin, who is a graphic designer for Field Notes, one of my favorite companies. I keep that in there to take notes if I need to, or to whatever I need to do. So I keep an Apple dongle, connects to my computer, and has USB, HDMI, and that other one that I guess it's USB-C. I never have used that part of it. In here is a laptop sleeve. I keep an iPad Pro in here, and I use this for if I'm editing somewhere really quick, or if I want to show a quick photo to a client, I can easily tether this up to my camera and run through the images really fast, and I like that a lot. And I can even use it as a secondary display for my cameras, which for doing a lot of interiors work is really helpful because the screens are so small on those Sonys. And let's see what else is in here. I've got one of these guys. This is an SOG, I can't see the brand, what kind it is, but it's just like a, like a Leatherman, just like a standard tool set. I have a pen in here. It's very simple and it doesn't change much. Oops, business cards and pens and just random things. So this bag pretty much stays packed and ready to go other than batteries being charged. I am looking to upgrade this bag to be able to get a bigger bag and to include some lighting gear in it as well. And so eventually I will do that. Next, we'll hit lighting really fast. Lighting is a big part of what I do. And in here, I've got, this is the Pelican, I think the Air Light, no, Pelican Air, and it's got all these coffee shop stickers on it from places I've gotten to go. But I have two Profoto B10s, and these lights are fantastic. They've really changed a lot of my workflow, and they've really changed a lot of the way that I have been able to deliver work for clients. So these lights are strobes that I control from my camera with a transmitter. but I can also use them as continuous lights. So I can actually use them with my film cameras that don't have this kind of technology built in. So I'm able to use those. And then I have 3 or 4 different types of modifiers, from basic, parabolic umbrellas to big soft boxes, whatever it might be. I've got enough for the job. Of course, there's always room for more modifiers. In here, I have the Profoto gel adapter, and I've got all these gels in here. I haven't experimented much with gels at this point. Just I've really yet to find the right time, but it will come. This like funny orange cable is a Tether Tools USB-C cable, and it connects from my computer to my camera. Sorry, there's gnats everywhere in Mississippi. So this is so I can have a laptop on location when I'm shooting, and as I'm shooting, the client can see in real time what the images are looking like, which is really helpful. Clients really appreciate that, and I use that through Capture One. So that's really fast and helpful. Gaffer's tape, I'm almost out, so I've got to order some more, but really helpful tool. And then we'll go to the film bag. The film bag is kind of the bag that always is changing. So the main rig that's in here is a Pentax 6.7. I've narrowed down to where this is actually my only medium format camera now. I've sold off the 6.45 that I had, and to a guy in Toronto, which is besides the point. Then I have the little wooden grip that goes on here. I love being able to use this thing, and you loosen this up. I just love this. I always get comments on this. It's always funny what people notice, but just clip it in there. Gnats are in my mouth. And then you have a wooden grip. And with this camera, I have 2 lenses. I have a 75mm, really great lens, and I've got the treasured 105 lens, and I use those both. A lot of times I use those for portraits. I'll use those for landscapes, and as far as it pertains to commercial work, it always changes. So sometimes I don't use any film for commercial jobs. It just depends on the job. So I'll use this for portraits. I'll use this for doing like interiors work if it fits. The widest lens I have is a 75mm, which kind of amounts to, I think, around 50, and 35mm size, so it's not very wide. Also in here, I've got a Sekonic light meter. This light meter has been with me for 2 years. It's still not mine, and I'm hoping the owner doesn't want it back ever. This is another think tank bag, same kind I had in here, but this bag holds all my film that I take with me, so I don't take all my film with me to each job. What I normally do is I'll pack, however many rolls that I expect to use, and I'll put them in here, and then what I typically do is I put them back in the freezer. But I'm shooting pretty regularly these days, so I just keep it in there. Climate controlled environment. Another Peak Design strap here. I've got a long cable release that my friend Thomas gave me. I think it's like 20 feet long, so it's really good for self-portraits. And then I've got the Leica MP with a 35mm Summicron, and I use this for fun, and I use this for kind of behind the scenes stuff, but also like fleeting moments that I couldn't have captured with the Sony S-Fast. And so this camera is really great for being able to sneak around, but it's also like the main camera I use for personal work. So love having this camera here. And it's a really good combination with the Leica Q. So I like to have both of those cameras because it kind of itches the digital desire, but it also itches the film desire. So a little bit more about what's behind me. This is a done and dusted custom backdrop that I had made out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is a beautiful hand-painted canvas backdrop that was shipped to me, and I really love this company, and I highly recommend that if you're looking for a canvas custom hand-painted backdrop that you look at Done and Dusted's website, and I'll link that in the description. Right here, this is a think tank, just insane assembly bag. And so this bag literally just holds all my stands and all my modifiers. It holds a C stand, it holds a really big diffuser. It holds everything. And so it has wheels, and it kind of just stays all packed up all the time. And so I'm never having to like throw stands everywhere. And what it does is it keeps my kit very stable. And so, and then I've got my last two stands holding up the backdrop. So it's a really mobile setup. I'm not really confined to a studio with this setup. So I'm able to get around pretty quickly, and I can just throw all my gear in the back of my car and really be anywhere ready to go. Of course, I've got other things like flags, and I've got a big V flat, and I've got other things that I don't use as much. But this kit right here is literally my everyday kit, what I'm using constantly. Some gear that I'm looking at picking up is I'm looking at picking up another light, because I find that sometimes I'll have two lights on the subject, but I'll maybe want to light the backdrop a little bit better. I want to pick up potentially an additional wide lens. I've got the 24-70 G Master, that's what's filming right now, but I would love to have a wide fixed lens. I'm looking at picking up another modifier, an umbrella. I'm looking at picking up a tether tools system to where I can put it on my computer and have it roll around and it'd be really convenient. But really, this has been like the first time in my career that I've felt truly like set on what I have, and more so than that, honestly. But I guess anything that was missing, you guys can leave in the comments and I'd love to address. The film stocks that I'm using are typically Portra 400 or Fuji 400. I've been shooting a lot of Fuji lately. I bought like 15 boxes of it towards the end of last year just because I wanted to do one more thing for the business and buy a bunch of film. So shooting a lot of film these days, which has been a lot of fun. And I've actually been starting to scan myself, which has also been really fun. Yet it's been really, I've learned a lot about how much I need to learn. So thank you guys for taking the time to watch through this video. I hope it was interesting or helpful to you. I think that pretty much covers everything. As always, ask questions in the comments or send us a DM and we can answer some questions. So hope you have a great day and thank you for watching.